In ALEKS, you're asked to solve a word problem using a linear equation, and here's an example of problem type 2. In these problems, you're going to be given a fixed cost and a variable cost. Okay, so in this case, you have a small publishing company, and you're planning on publishing a new book. Okay, so you have a production cost that includes a one-time fixed cost, okay, such as editing, and variable costs, such as printing. And so the one-time fixed cost will be $25,000.60. Okay, the variable cost will be $12.25 per book. Usually when you're seeing some kind of formula that's, or some kind of information that's per miles, per book, per something, then usually that's going to be a variable cost. Okay, the publisher will sell the finished product to the bookstore at $21 per book. Okay, so how many books must the publisher produce and sell so that the production costs will equal the money from the sales? Okay, so you're going to kind of set up an equation where you want these two things equal to each other. Okay, so your production cost, you have your one-time flat rate of $25,000 and $25,060. Plus you're going to add that to your variable cost, which was $12.25 per book. So we're going to make our variable B for book. Okay, so if you sold 100 books, you times that by $12.25, which would give you $1,225, and add that to the $25,060 one-time cost, because this will always stay the same. And that represents your production costs. Okay, now we want to know when this value will equal the value of the finished product, right, or the sales, the value from the sales. Now we know that each book is $21, so that's going to be 21 times B. So if you sold 100 books, that would be 2,100. Okay, so we want to see when these things will be equal, so that's kind of where you start to make money. So, when they're equal is there's no profit, there's no loss. Okay, so we want to kind of see where that value is, and then you can kind of figure out, okay, I need to sell more than that in order to make a profit for this book, and that kind of helps you to decide if you want to spend the money to publish it. Okay, so let's see how this is going to be solved. So we're going to use our equation rules here with variables on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and subtract $12.25 times B from both sides. So a minus 12.25B from both sides. Okay, so these will cancel out over here and leaves me on the left side the 25,060. And 21 minus 12.25 is going to give me 8.75 B. And now I can solve this by dividing both sides by 8.75. So 25,060 divided by 8.75, that's going to give me 2864. So you need to sell 2,864 books. And that is when the production cost will equal the money from the sales. So no profit, no loss at this point right here. Okay, let's look at another example. Alright, for this other example, we have two different phone companies to choose from. Okay, so there's these two different service plans. The first plan has a $23 monthly fee and charges an additional 7 cents for each minute of the call. The second plan has no monthly fee and charges, this was supposed to be, 11 cents for each minute of calls. For how many minutes of calls will the cost of the two plans be equal? Okay, so we want to figure out the costs for each and have them equal, set them equal to each other so that we can find out the number of minutes that makes the two plans equal. So then you can kind of find out at that point, you know, there's no benefit either way for which plan you choose. Okay, so here the first plan has $23 monthly fee and charges an additional 7 cents for each minute of call. I'm going to make my variable C for the number of minutes of calls. And my $23 is my flat fee plus the 7 cents per phone call. So 0.07 for each minute of a phone call that I make. Okay? So if I make 100 phone calls, I multiply 0.07 times 100, and that would give me $7. And I would add that to 23, which would give me $30. It would cost me $30 if I made 100 phone calls. Now for the second plan, there's no monthly fee, no flat fee. It's just 11 cents per additional minute. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to multiply by 0.11 times C. And I want to know when these two things are equal, so that's why I have them set equal to each other. So again, on the second plan, if I made 100 minutes of calls, that would be $11. Okay. So now you have an equation. You need to solve it. If you notice, I have decimals here. And the 23, one of the mistakes I see on this type of problem is some people will say 23 plus 7C equals 11C. If it's written in dollar form, then you need to put it in dollar form. If you want to go ahead and get rid of the decimals, you could put everything in cents, okay, which would be 2,300. I'll put that up here so you can kind of see that. 2,300, because that's how many cents $23 is, plus 7 cents per minute of phone call equals 11 cents per minute of phone call. So you could use this equation right here. You'll get the same answer. It represents the same information. I'm just going to go ahead and solve it using what I have here. So I need to get my C values on one side, so I'm going to subtract 0.07 from both sides of my equal sign. Okay, both sides of the equation here. So this is going to give me a 23 on the left side of the equation, and on the right side I'm going to get 0.04C. And then you're going to divide both sides by 0.04. And 23 divided by 0.04 is 575. So at 575 minutes, both of these plans have the same cost. So you can see, if I made less than 575 minutes, you could determine which plan would be better for you to use. And if you made more than 575 minutes, then you could determine, again, which plan to use. This is the point where their costs would be the same.